The Stand is one of those epic books that everyone should read. Whether or not you enjoy the work of Stephen King in general, it's just one of those books that is practically perfect. It was King's fourth novel, and the first time he released something that was not horror-based. After writing a revenge tale, a vampire story, and a ghost story, King breaks from tradition and gives us a fantasy epic, though it is set in contemporary, modern America. For the longest time, it seemed that The Stand was something that was unfilmable due to its epic length, gigantic cast, and complicated plots. It was sort of like Lord of the Rings or Watchmen, something you didn't think would ever be a movie. And when it finally does come, while the result is not perfect, it was the best possible adaptation you could get. The Stand was actually originally going to get a theatrical release, but even a 4-hour movie would not do it any sort of justice. So it became a miniseries on ABC, something that would happen to quite a few King works. At 6 hours and 6 minutes, it's an epic to be sure, and it was originally aired in 4 2-hour blocks, making it an 8-hour movie with all the commercials. You can get it on DVD, but it might be kind of hard to find. The plot of The Stand is anything but simple, but I'll try to synopsize it as best I can. Somewhere in California, the government was researching superpowered versions of common diseases for biological warfare. One of the bugs, a superpowered version of influenza called Project Blue, got out and immediately kills everyone on the base. Due to a malfunction, a guard is able to escape with his family before the place is locked down, but it's too late. He's already infected, and the flu plague wipes out 99.4% of the human population on Earth. The remaining survivors in this country, a few thousand people, all start having dreams of an old woman and a dark man. And based on their choices, good or evil, they congregate in either Boulder, Colorado, or Las Vegas. You can probably guess which is which. What follows is a series of betrayals, espionage, and literally biblical events, culminating in 4 heroes setting off for Las Vegas to defeat the Dark Man, Randall Flagg, who later would show up in a lot of Stephen King novels, most notably The Eyes of the Dragon and the Dark Tower books. The Stand touches on nearly every genre possible. There is literally something for everyone. You got horror, fantasy, science fiction, drama, romance, anything you can think of. The characters are what make the story, however, and whether you're rereading the novel or watching the film, you really get to know them, for better or worse. Even the film's 6-hour length can't handle every detail and every character, and I personally think that the job they did truncating the entire thing was pretty reasonable. A few of the minor characters are omitted, with the characteristics being folded into other characters. Most of the scenes that are missing were actually missing from the novel, as the original version was heavily edited, and the uncut version only having been released in 1990, 4 years before the film. Though they took a few cues from the uncut version, notably the first scene, the film bears a strong resemblance to the original edited text. The cast is pretty immense, and there are some big names. You got Gary Sinise, one of my favorite actors, Molly Ringwald, Ruby Dee, Ossie Davis, Rob Lowe, Laura San Giacomo, and some lesser-known but familiar faces such as Cora Nemec, Matt Frewer, and Shawnee Smith. There's even 2 uncredited cameos for major actors. Both Ed Harris and Kathy Bates appear without any credit, and interestingly, they had both previously appeared in Stephen King movies. Ed Harris starred in Needful Things, and Kathy Bates starred in Misery, and would later star in Dolores Claiborne. Even Stephen King is in the cast, and he's in quite a few scenes. There's also Jamie Sheridan, who plays the villain Flagg. He was a pretty unknown actor at the time and does a great job as Flagg. Everyone pretty much does a great job at the acting. If I had to come down on anyone with criticism, it'd be Molly Ringwald. She's just out of her depth, though near the end she does a good job. The special effects are also damn good, and they won several Emmys for makeup and effects. It's clearly had a much larger budget than your typical TV movie. Some of the shots are also very picturesque and go great with the film's soundtrack, which is phenomenal. They did a great job choosing contemporary rock and pop songs to use, as well as a damn good original score that only gets better as the film progresses. My one major criticism was the fact that it was aired on TV. It was rough to really get into the story and then have to cut to some bullshit commercial for toilet paper or whatever, but if you're watching it on DVD, that's not really an issue, so I'm not really going to take any points off for that or anything. If you were around at the time The Stand was first aired, you remember how it was. It was a huge TV event, a major motion picture, put into TV format and adapted from one of the greatest books of modern times. The Stand had a lot to live up to, and it definitely met my expectations. To this day, I'm still amazed whenever I watch it, not only because it's a damn good film, but because of the ambitious undertaking. The filmmakers really had their work cut out for them, and to do an apocalyptic story complete with plenty of blood, corpses, and other frightening images in prime time on network TV was something unheard of at the time. Anyway, I can go on and on. I really could, but there's no need for that. Let's just get down to the nitty-gritty. This is a 10 out of 10, easily. You should hunt down a copy on DVD. It's out of print, but it's still around online. Or better yet, if you haven't read the book, definitely do that.